Late 1965, Central Highlands. Your platoon in the 1st Cavalry Division steps off into the Ia Drang Valley before first light. Your shirt is already wet and the pack straps are sawing your collarbones. The first consequence isn't a casualty report. It's a column that can't keep speed and a unit that can't maneuver on time. Army medical histories called disease the theater's single greatest cause of morbidity. In this video, we're breaking down 4 physical stress cycles: load, wet foot, fever, and gut failure, and how each one quietly removed men from the fight. Here's what most people miss. None of it ends cleanly. You learn the first lesson in your shoulders. The load never comes off. It steals air and turns every slope into a timed event. Here's the trap. The impact is simple. You move slower, you react slower, and you fight tired. In the Ia Drang Valley in 1965, that shaped spacing and whether you got set before the other side did. Studies of Vietnam-era patrol loads put an Army infantry load at about 30 kilograms, and Marines could push up to 45. Unit journals recorded the same issue. Men weren't quitting, their bodies were. A machine gunner who served with the 4th Infantry Division later said, "I felt the gun had become a part of me." You feel shame when you're the slow one. After that, you're not mission capable when you fall out. And once you realize weight is only the start, the wet begins working on you next. Now the water takes over, and it does it quietly. December 1965, Marines in 2nd Battalion, 7th Marines move through the Quai Son Valley during Operation Harvest Moon. What hits you first is heat in your feet, then numbness, then split skin when you stand. This is where it goes wrong. A rifleman who can't walk becomes a problem the squad must carry. Leatherneck reporting recorded that Company E-27 evacuated 54 Marines for immersion foot. Here's what most people miss. You can still shoot, so you keep marching, and that makes it worse. Army preventive medicine guidance warned a 48-hour limit should be placed on operations involving continuous exposure to water. A Marine from that fight later recalled, "The enemy knew what the hell they were doing, and it was hellacious." You don't just fear contact, you fear your own feet. Once evacuated for immersion foot, many didn't come back to that patrol. And when you think you finally dried out, the fever arrives. Then, the sickness that feels like an ambush hits from inside. Back in the Central Highlands in late 1965, it starts behind the eyes and in the bones. Chills, sweat, and sudden weakness. You try to stay on the line. Here's why. You know what it means to be pulled. But the unit can't hide it. A man with malaria can't carry his share, can't pull security, and can't stay on a trigger. Army medical histories recorded that in December 1965, rates for certain units operating in the Ia Drang Valley reached as high as 600 admissions per 1,000 per year. This is where it turned deadly, because planning collapses when the sick list spikes. The same official history stated at least 2 maneuver battalions were rendered ineffective by malaria. Veterans later recalled the dread of night sweats and the fear of being the weak link. Once you're febrile enough to be pulled from the patrol, return was unlikely, and the longer you stay out there, gut sickness starts finishing what fever began. By the time your stomach gives out, you're operating on fumes. You feel it as cramps and urgency that show up at the worst times, on perimeter, during a halt, when you can't explain why you need to stop. In the Mekong Delta in 1969, with units like the 9th Infantry Division working canals and paddies, it was a drain on readiness. Army medical histories said the most common disease among U.S. soldiers in Vietnam was diarrhea. Here's what most people miss. Dehydration isn't just weakness. This is when it goes wrong. Dehydration makes judgment slip. Hospital and quarters data showed how often it pulled men off the line, even when it wasn't fatal. The average hospital stay for a diarrheal case was about 5 days, long enough for a squad to feel the missing man on watch. A veteran later recalled, in paraphrase, that he feared the weakness more than the cramps. Once you needed fluids and bed rest, you didn't just shake it off in the field. From that point on, you were out of the rotation, and the unit kept moving. When you look back, the breaking rarely happened in one moment. It happened in accumulation. weight that never eased, feet that never fully healed, fevers that stole strength, and stomach sickness that emptied you out. The records track it as admissions and evacuations. You remember it as hesitation, the second you wondered if you could make the next move. What stayed with Money Men wasn't only fear of contact. It was fear of failing the patrol because your body finally said no. And even when you did come home, the memory stayed physical. Shoulders tightening at the thought of straps, boots remembered as wet, and the knowledge that endurance had limits.